Want to see if this bad boy works for you? Watch today's video. We received this mini chainsaw from Shrubex. It's Ecocasa, and it's their 4-inch saw. So we're going to give this saw a little review and show you how it works. Okay, first thing it does, it comes with the saw, 2 chains, this nice splash guard on it, and it also has what I really like is a hand guard from whacking your hands or hitting your knuckles. The biggest thing on this one, it has the trigger lock. So you can't accidentally hit the trigger. You can either push the button on this side, it's push the button on this side, and the trigger only engages once these are pushed. Big time safety feature I like a lot. So the other thing it features also is 2 20-volt batteries, a charger that plugs into the wall, and then of course the instructions on how to replace the chain, and a pair of gloves as well. Okay, it comes with the chain already installed, but of course once this one is dull you need to replace it. But the first thing to do is make sure that there is no battery installed. We want this unit to be completely non-workable. And it's a fairly simple process of replacing it. You just take your adjustable wrench, unloosen the nut here, take the guard off, and that exposes everything down below here. So once that's done, you just remove the bar and the chain assembly, and you take your new chain. What you want to do is make sure your blades are going the correct way. So as it spins, these blades are going to have the point to this way, the sharp side. So we're going to take that back, put it on the bar, and what we're going to have to do at this point here is we're going to unloosen this screw so that when we put it on we can tighten up the bar. Okay, so once we have that, we're going to slip our chain and bar. We're going to pull up the guard, and we're just going to work that back on to the bar. Work your chain onto the bar while it's loose here, and there we go. Alright, then once that's done, we're going to take our guard and put that back in place. And I'm not going to tighten that down. I'm actually going to tighten this screw down. So this screw is located right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start to tighten that up. I'm going to go clockwise on that. And as I do that, I'm going to tug down on the chain and kind of run it back and forth. See, now it's loosened back up again. So I'm going to give that a little tight. Run the chain. And you can see that there's just a hair bit of slack in it. I'm going to go ahead and just give, just a very little touch. Once that's done, turn it back over. I'm just going to tighten that back down. So as you use it, this will loosen up, and it does on large gas chainsaws too. It doesn't matter what kind of chainsaw it is. As the chain wears in, it'll start to loosen, and you just touch it up, tighten it, and then go back to work. The chain is a little tight. I'm going to go ahead and stick a battery in. Just like that. It just pushes in, and then when you release it, you depress the red button and it releases the battery. So as far as the safety button, as you have your finger depressed on the trigger, you need to push with your thumb, and that will release the safety. This is ambidextrous. You can actually touch it with this finger over here and press on it and do the same thing. And if you're, of course, left-handed like me, you can do the same thing. You can push it with this finger, and you could hit the trigger with this finger, or either way. As long as you're pushing this, it will activate the saw. Okay, once I do that, I run it a couple times. I want to double check the blade. Of course, I took the battery out, and everything's good. So we are actually ready to do it. Before we get going, we definitely want to keep some lubricant on the chain as we use it. I'll occasionally lubricate the chain to keep it from getting hot. Big important step, make sure you have some eye protection. To get started, I'm not going to keep my finger on the trigger. That's just an important safety rule on anything with the trigger. I got my lubricant. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and trigger it, and I'm going to spray. That's it. That's all it takes. And yeah, it's going to get a little dirty as it saws, but it's a lot better than going through chains. All right, we'll put that to the side. One thing about this saw is that I do have my finger off trigger. That it has this little grate here, and that is for pushing it up against the piece of wood. And then as you do that, you just arc the saw into the wood, and it'll cut it off. Just like that. It's so cool. Let's just cut a little chunky off. This is a totally cool. You could actually use that for little craft things, and we probably will. All right, it just chunked through that with no problems at all. Okay, that's it. We love this little saw. I've been using it around the property ever since we did the video, and I've been cutting like up to 6-inch limbs with this thing. It's actually a great little saw. We enjoy it. And if you got any questions or you have any comments, just comment down below. We'll also have the link down below. Thanks for watching DIY on the House.